Good evening, my peeps on Facebook. Why do you think that happiness is an outside job? Do you look to things happening outside of you in order to make you happy? Do you think if you get the job, if you get the guy, if you lose the last 10 pounds, it'll make you happy? Well, I'm here to tell ya, it's not about the outside things. It's about the inner experience and the inner journey. So let's dish about it. I'm Arriane Alexander. I'm the Rock Your Life coach, and I work with entrepreneurs all over the world in building a business that they love and a life that they are just ecstatic about. And so much of the work that I do with my clients is about this inner experience of happiness. And tonight I wanted to share my own story with you so that you can probably relate. You'll hear some things that you can relate to in finding happiness within. Because what I find is most of us go through life and think if this thing happens outside of us, then we'll be happy. And we're continually, I call it the dangling carrot, like the carrot's out here and we're like trying to catch up. We're like the bunny trying to catch up to the carrot. But it doesn't work that way, because even if we catch up, then there's always the next thing. So there's kind of always this dangling carrot until we become aware of how to bring the happiness inside and the peace inside and experience it fully. So let's dive right in. Tonight I'm gonna share my story, and you're gonna hear ways that you can bring happiness closer to you. So thank you for being here tonight. And if you'll just click in the comments that you are, excuse me, where you're from. I'd love to see where you're watching from tonight. And also I love it when you click your like buttons and the little hearts, because they fly across my screen and it's so fun to see them. So my own journey is this. I was a high-level executive in sales and marketing for a big fashion company for many years. For 12 years, I worked for this company. I grew up with this company, basically. And I had this glamorous job. I was in the fashion business, and I traveled all over the country and even all over the world. And I had what most people would consider a glamorous job, because I worked for this awesome company and I had great clients. I called on, my clients were specialty stores in all these cool stores all over the country, and I worked for these great people and I made lots of money. I had no problems with money, and it was really a dream job. It was very glamorous, and people thought I just had it made, and I did. And I was miserable. For the 12 years that I worked for that company, for 7 of those years, I was completely burnt out and thought pretty much daily about leaving my career. So for 7 out of 12 years, I was like not happy in what I was doing. And I always thought, once I leave my job, I'll be happy. I just have to get out. I just have to do something different. I have to get happy, and I don't know what that is, but it's not this. Can you relate to that, of wanting to get out and try something different but not knowing what it is? If you can relate to that, just hit your like button. And also, you can always put in the comments below, like I said, I love to hear where you're from, where you're watching from, and where's the area of life where you think you're not happy? Is it with your weight? Is it with your experience with your body? Is it your career? Is it your experience with money? Is it your experience with relationships? Because we all have these places where we just don't really feel happy. So in my world, I was in this amazing career for so many years, but was completely burnt out and thought, if I leave, I'm gonna get happy. So somehow, some way, I finally got the courage to walk away from my career. I'm talking walked away. I didn't know what I was doing next. I didn't have a safety net. I just knew I couldn't do this 1 minute longer. Doing this thing that didn't call to my heart, I couldn't do it 1 minute longer. So I walked away from this amazing career. After 12 years, high level, could have been there forever, could have been with that company forever, because it's an amazing company. But I just couldn't do it. So I walked away. And I thought, well, I'm going to be happy now, because I'm going to do something else. Well, people always say, do what you love and the money will follow. And I'm here to tell you, that's not always true. Because there's a lot more things that go into play than just do what you love and the money will follow. You got to hustle. You got to work. You got to create stuff, right? So when I left my career, I didn't know what was next. And it sunk me into such a deep depression and anxiety. I had so much anxiety because I wasn't making any money. I wasn't working. So I went from making lots of money, plenty of money to support myself, to $0. And I had some savings, so I knew that, I had a little while to live, but I didn't know what was next. I didn't have any idea. And that anxiety was maddening. It was, those days were some of the darkest days of my life, where I was so depressed because I didn't have money coming in, and I was like running out of my savings. And I went from having tons of money in my accounts, in my savings accounts, to having $0. I spent all my money. Over a course of years, I literally spent every penny I had in creating this life, in this new life, but I wasn't making any money, so I had $0. So could you imagine having basically no income and trying to figure out how I'm going to get income, how I'm going to make money, and having $0? And I would wake up having panic attacks in the middle of the night. Have any of you ever experienced a panic attack? It's awful. Like, my heart was like this, and I was like sweating, and I was like, what is going on? And I realized it was a panic attack. And I started having panic attacks regularly, and it was miserable. I couldn't believe how depressed I was. I did not want to get out of bed. And if any of you out there have experienced this, you know how awful it feels. So it was time when it was so challenging in my life, and I was just not happy. And I would always say to my friends, I would kind of do prayers with my friends and really ask for a lot of support. And one of my friends would always say, it doesn't matter if you have $1 million in your account or $0. You get to choose your experience, and you get to choose how you want to look at yourself and if you want to be happy, because you can be just as happy with tons of money as you are with no money. And I was like, you're crazy. Because I was like, of course I'd be happy if I had all this money. If I had millions of dollars in my bank accounts, sure, I'd be totally happy because everything would be fine. But what I realized, when I was kind of stripped of everything, this image that I had of myself, I was stripped kind of everything because I had no money. I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. And it was so humbling to me. It really brought me back to myself. It brought me back to my heart. It brought me back to what's important to me. And through that challenging experience, I fought it every step of the way. I thought, no, I'm just going to make a bunch of money, and then I'll be happy, and then I'll be fine. And it didn't happen. It didn't happen. I was still doing everything that I loved. I was creatively expressing. I was working in the entertainment business, and I just wasn't making any money. So I was like, what gives? Spirit? Because I'm doing my part, and I'm still miserable. And slowly but surely, I had changed my point of view. And what I did is I started a gratitude project. I wrote down 5 things every morning and 5 things every night, so simple to start my gratitude project, in order to start shifting my frame of mind. And my gratitudes back then, oh my gosh, it was literally like this. I'm grateful for my hairbrush. I'm grateful for the carpet on my floor. I'm grateful I have a bed. I'm grateful I have a place to live. I mean, it was the simplest, mundane detail. I was grateful I had toothpaste, because I was such in a deep depression that I couldn't even think of anything, I was really grateful for. I was just like, yeah, I'm grateful for my toothpaste. It's good. I got good toothpaste, so I'm good. Like, I was in that state. And I started that gratitude process, and I started shifting my point of view, because then my gratitudes got more full, and I could see that there were more things in life that I could be grateful for, even in this state of financial, call it despair. And then I started really asking, how can I be of service on the planet? And I would ask every night before I went to bed, I would ask, Spirit, please guide me and show me, how can I use my gifts and talents to be of service on this planet? And every night I would ask that. And, with the intention of getting some guidance of how I could really be of service to people. Do you understand that? And if you love to be of service, click your like button, because I love to see all of us watching who really enjoys being of service on the planet. So important to have that place of contribution. And I started finding ways to be of service. I really got a divine inspiration to start coaching and start teaching classes at a place in Los Angeles. And that changed everything. Once I started being in service and contributing, everything changed. I got in gratitude, I got in a service consciousness, and everything changed. And then life started to shift. I started to bring on clients as a coach, and I started to get more acting jobs, and everything changed. And then fast forward, 10 years later, my finances are amazing, and I'm totally fine, and I'm happy. But the point is, during that dark time, I had to realize that I was waiting for the outside. I was waiting for me to have tons of money for me to be happy. And what I had to do was turn it around to myself and say, I'm choosing to be happy and fulfilled no matter what. Because if I'm happy, if I'm saying I'm choosing to be happy and fulfilled no matter what, that means no matter what. That means no matter what the situation is, I get to choose to stay in this place of fullness and happiness. And I'm telling you, it wasn't easy. Because there were all these things that were happening that tried to pull me out of that happiness. You know, bills would come in and I wouldn't know how I was going to pay the bill and I'd start to freak out. And then I was like, wait, hold up. If my commitment's to be happy, I got to be happy. So back to this place of being happy. It really is an inside job. If we wait for it to come from the outside, we're just chasing a dangling carrot. I did it for years, you guys. I did it for years and I was miserable. And when I started going into gratitude with my gratitude project and I started being of service, getting outside myself, finding ways to support, using my gifts and talents to be of service on the planet, then life started to change. And the happiness started to come from the inside because I really got it, that it's me choosing into me and my fullness and how can I express. And it wasn't about anybody else or any situation. So if I can do it, you can do it. I'm not special. People are always like, you're so happy. And I'm like, yes, but I choose to be. It's not like I wait for it to happen. Do you see the difference? I'm creating the happiness all the time. I wake up in joy because I've created a life where I'm in a state of gratitude. I live in a place of service, of how can I be of service, so that it's a continual flow now of happiness. And if I did it, you can do it. So if you're more interested in really finding this place of happiness within yourself, I encourage you to start with gratitude, of really, starting a clear gratitude list in the morning or at night of what you're really grateful for. And then again, finding the ways that you can be of service, asking to be guided how you can use your gifts and talents to be of service. And I'm not saying like go start an orphanage or, if you want to, great, do that. But service can be so small. It can be paying for someone's, it can be like random acts of kindness, like paying for someone's parking meter when you see their parking meters out, or helping someone to their car with their groceries, or holding the door for someone, or giving someone a compliment. I love to be of service in that way and give people compliments because people just light up when you give them compliments. So there's so many ways that each of us can be of service, and once we start getting of service and we're outside ourselves, then we experience more happiness and fullness within ourselves. All right, my loves. I'm going to wrap up and hop off, but I love you being here. Please comment below on the things that make you happy, that you do that like create the happiness. How do you cultivate the happiness in your life? Be sure to leave a comment below. And you can always go to my website, is ArianeAlexander.com, and see more about what I do and the coaching that I do. And just make sure you subscribe. Like I said, if you click the drop down and you'll hit see more options, and you click on there and you can subscribe to the live notifications so we can always have party time when I'm on here Facebook Live. Okay, my loves, have a great night and I'll see you soon. Bye.